Hi, I'm Mary Lindsay Wilson, and welcome to the Lone Star Dowsers. We have an incredible program for you. This is June 2025 with Gabriella Espinosa. I'll introduce her in a minute. So be prepared to just have an incredible experience. My intention is to educate and inspire you with wonderful people that use dowsing in different ways so that you can take that information and expand your practice of dowsing. So we are glad that you are all here, whether you're in person or you're in future. And shout out to the watch party at the Aurora Chapel and Emily. We're super excited about that. We have a few announcements. Let's see. The Flagstaff Dowsers Conference is coming up in October. So we encourage you to go if you haven't been. It's a pretty incredible experience, and there's a lot of amazing dowsers that show up from all over. And there is a link on the email that went out that you can get more information about the conference. And I want to also acknowledge that there's every week we have the Tucson Dowsers do an aid and relief from fires, drought, heat waves, and floods. And that's on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock Central. And it's just a short thing, but it helps to invite the nature spirits to bring in rain in gentle, appropriate amounts to drought-stricken areas around the world or whatever is called for. So it's an amazing group, and there's a link for that in the newsletter. And our Australian friends, Heather Wilkes and Francis Peterson, on Thursdays at 8 o'clock Central, they do Dows for the Planet. So there's lots of things that are required by the planet, I think, right now. So the link is also in the newsletter for that. And I just want to thank the people that have donated. And if you find value in these programs that we're doing, please put the money into what supports and contributes to you. It's about $50 a month to do this. And Emily and myself and our speakers all donate their time and energy. So we're asking for your support. And it's in the newsletter. You can do a PayPal, you can send a check, however you're comfortable doing it. So we just want to remind you about that. So now I'm going to introduce my friend Gabriella Espinosa. And it's hard to describe exactly what she does, but we're in for a treat. She has got an incredible supercharged treatment for us all to experience. So Gabriella first realized that she had healing abilities probably around 1998 when her hands started moving by themselves over areas that, people's bodies that needed healing. And she would form organic postures and spontaneous mudras. And then as she began exploring and kind of growing that gift, she was introduced to Aura-Soma, which is a really incredible system, healing through color and light and herbs and crystal gemstones. And I think Vicky Wall was the one who created Aura-Soma. And then, as we do, we grow as healers and, expand. And she's been a practitioner for over 25 years. She does dowsing, muscle testing, Reiki, Eric Doucette's energy clearing, and lots more. So it's hard to describe what she does, Ben, and I'll let her tell you more about that. But with Pure Soul Alchemy, which is her company, her beautiful umbrella, the name should tell you a lot right there. She offers it's channeled writing, vocalized alchemy, and it's really like a psychic surgery for your soul that unblocks your highest potential and activates your inherent healing ability. It's a multi-dimensional transformation with light and healing. So welcome, Gabriella. And I'm also going to say to reach her, I know the information's in our newsletter, but you can find her at puresoulalchemy.com, and she also has tons of resources on YouTube. So welcome, Gabriella.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm so happy to be here with y'all today. Um, I'm thinking I'm just going to go in and tell you a little bit about what I do, what Pure Soul Alchemy is, and we'll go from there. So this thing I call Pure Soul Alchemy, it's an energy healing modality that, like as Mary said, I've been cultivating it since around 1998. And sometimes I use the word psychic surgery or shamanistic treatment, just because it's kind of difficult to find words to describe what I do. I feel like my work is a lot more, you say, on the technical side. It feels very technical and scientific sometimes. Um, but for the most part, I feel that I'm clairaudient, and so I hear diagnostics and energetic operations. And so as I track that and tune into that, I report what I'm hearing. And as I'm verbalizing these operations, they come through into our physical reality and catalyze change that your system tailors for you. So it's like a dance, and it's always permission based. I consider these words and phrases, these operations, to be positive energetic suggestions. So it's not like we go in and move stuff around in your basement, and it's like it's always, well, here, this is something that you can do, and then your system will respond in the way that is right for your system. Sometimes, especially when I'm working one-on-one with people, I'm always muscle testing. Like, is this the right one, or does it need more, or is this the right time for that? And sometimes people's systems, rarely they'll say, no, we don't want that, or that's not right. And so then, as people who douse, then you go back, okay, well, what would be uh, helpful for this person's system to get ready, or for that other operation that really wants to come through. And then there we go, so it's quite a journey, navigating these operations and informations that come in. And I kind of consider myself like an on the scenes reporter, like I'm looking through a little peephole through a fence. It almost feels like that. There's so much going on. I mean, obviously it's universal interplay and dynamic motion of existence. But looking at one person's field, I mean, there's just so much going on that I can only follow and track, like a tiny bit. And so I'm reporting and bringing it through and assisting the person's system to make significant changes on their own behalf. But also, there's a lot that doesn't get said, doesn't get spoken or reported, that come through too. So my sessions are multi-layered, and not, how do you say, not stuck in one point in time. Oftentimes I find that there are operations that come through that will not get enacted until much later, after some of the other ones have run through. Typically, I recommend people to listen to the recording afterwards several times because of this. And I've had some clients that will play it all day on autoplay for months at a time. And I'm like, oh my, aren't you tired of my voice by now? Then I have some clients who are like, wow, I listened to it once and I feel complete. And that's right too. So just like with life, especially these days, the way life is changing so much, there's just no set, well, recommendation or protocol for how we transform and transmute our lives.
Yeah, people can follow their own personal instructions and dows, right? What's
Exactly.
appropriate
And they
for
might even
you.
say, oh, wow, I only need the last 10 minutes of that session. Okay. So, and I'm all down with that. I'm one who really is, how to say, I consider myself a big cheerleader of to thine own self be true. And um, yeah, you do what you need to do for you. Um, so yeah, so there's that angle. Let's see, what else should I say about my work? So when you're receiving a treatment with me, I always recommend that you lay down or rest someplace where you can be very comfortable and you won't be disturbed, because you can go very deep sometimes during these treatments. Not all the time, but sometimes people will go in and out of waking. They'll sleep for a little bit or trance-like state for a little bit or be highly alert the next moment. And I find it very interesting because I do sessions for myself and then listen to them later. And of course I muscle test, well, which one? And I find that my own internal self-healing intelligence will wake me up for the parts I need to hear and put me out for the parts that, no, we don't need your conscious mind focusing on this right now.
Letting it go deeper and sink in.
Exactly, exactly. Um, and that's another piece too, like with my work, it's not a back and forth conversation. It's more of a reporting. And like, so if you have a question or something, I always just ask that you wait till the end to ask it, because not that I don't want questions. I think that'd be super cool if I had that capacity, but there, like I said, there's so many operations happening simultaneously that I'll lose my place with the one where I was in. So I kind of have to do it that way, given my human limitations.
Well, and what I guess people don't know, we kind of talked about sort of topics because I wanted everybody to have the opportunity to experience one of Gabriella's treatments. And so I had some topics that sort of came to mind and we discussed it. And she said, I'm going to check and see what's right for the group. And so she did. And so then there's different bits of information that come in prior that you use for these treatments too. So
Yes, I always, before either a one-on-one treatment or a group session, I will download and type out what I call healing points. And so um, we got quite a few for our treatment tonight. I was surprised. I think I got double the normal amount. So we may be going for a
we're
little
going to move
while.
some energy tonight, y'all.
I think so. And yeah, so I download those ahead of time, but then also I am still listening and there's still operations coming through organically. Mary had mentioned how when I first got started, I started doing the automatic writing and the information would come through that way. Well, after a little bit, I started getting carpal tunnel because I had like, you know, 20, 50 of these notebooks. And I was like, I asked out loud, can't I just like say it? Can't I just speak it? And then like right away, that whole voice apparatus, channeling, whatever you want to call it, started to what's the word I'm looking for?
Activate.
Activate. And and then I was doing both. And the cool thing with that is that, when I'm writing things out, like I'll ask a question and my writing will answer it one way. and then I'll get a whole different set of answers through my vocalization. So there's many different, which is cool. It's like almost different parts of my persona are addressing the question from a different angle.
That's that
So
multidimensional infusion
yes,
that's happening. Yeah.
yes, that we all have. And you know, Mary and I were talking before 7 o'clock about how, you know, there's kind of like this quickening, for lack of a better word, happening to the planet and to humans and animals, happening to all of us right now. And so I suspect that, you know, in the very near future, a lot more of us will have a lot more access to more of our multidimensionality. But the getting there can be a rough ride. Um, so that's why we're here.
Right. And Gabriella has lots of these treatments in her on her website and for free on her YouTube. So, you know, you can get a taste for some of what she's doing, and the subjects are just a wide range of things that are extremely helpful and pertinent. Even if it's something you did a few years ago, you know, it could be very appropriate today. Like she said, it's got a living energy in the treatment itself. So
Yeah, it's not restricted to the time that it was recorded. Um, and again, you know, I always recommend my clients start there. I have some clients that, well, I guess they're not my clients, but they are, but they just go through my YouTube sessions and work with, experience my work, receive my work that way. And that's cool. I'm down with that. What I recommend is, you know, watch at least once before, which, I mean, you're going to get a good taste today, so you'll know. But I always tell my new clients, watch a session first so you know what you're getting into, you know, because a lot of people, they go to the Google and they're looking for a psychic reader to tell them if they're going to win the lottery. And so it's like, whoa, 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 you're so not going to get that here. So go to watch this video first before you schedule. So that was my initial reason for putting up all these videos on YouTube. I just wanted to give people an introduction to me so that it could be kind of like a filter, or like a you know, a test for them, or a way for them to discern. But it's kind of taken on a life of its own. And, you know, you can get a whole lot of healing just doing the YouTube sessions. I also offer group sessions. I'm aiming for once a month, but you know how life goes. And I do have one coming up this Saturday. I was telling Mary, you know, it's almost back to back group sessions this week, but that one's on self-worth. But I have the recordings for sale on my website, and those are more lengthy and more deep dive type of sessions, like we're going to do tonight, apparently. You know, we were aiming for like a 20-minute, like my YouTubes, and the healing points just kept coming in and coming in. I was like, okay, we're going to really go for it tonight.
go big or
So
go home.
exactly.
And apparently that's what dowsed, right? That's what you muscle
Yes,
tested for. And
right.
um
Yeah,
yeah.
when I do my downloads, you know, they're just coming through the healing topics, and you know, more specificity with those healing topics, and then another one would come in, and then another one, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is going
yeah,
to be great. And your classes are kind of group settings, and they're very well priced. Like your self-worth classes.
like $27. You
Yeah.
know, I keep the group session prices uh very reasonably priced for accessibility. Um, and
I'll read the chat.
oh,
You don't have
oh,
to worry
okay,
about
thank you.
that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's really nice. You know, they're more in depth than the YouTube sessions. And so I have all of those, or most of those, on my website in the library page. And so I have my other clients who they just keep working with those, which is great too. So, yeah, if you're ever going through something and you feel like you need a bit more, uh, more of a bigger punch than, a 20-minute YouTube session, you can go to that library page. Like there's one on grief, there's one on fear of the unknown. There's just all kinds of topics there. So, and
And
those are
yeah, and
27.
douse. Yeah, for people can douse to see what they resonate most with at that time, and you might be surprised. So yeah, people can sign up for your class on your puresoulalchemy.com website.
Yeah, you can just click the events button and it'll take you to the next group session. And the library page will take you to the past group session recordings that you can purchase and work
And you
from.
do private sessions, so if somebody needs a much
Yes,
deeper, very specific dive, you can do that as well.
absolutely. Yeah, that's on the appointments page on my website, which and then you'll see at the very top, please watch a YouTube video session before signing up. No, this
Because
is
it's
not a psychic reading.
yeah, yeah. So you want to tell our group a little bit about how you use dowsing in your work or muscle testing? Your
Yeah, sure. Yes. So I use it before, during, and even after sometimes. So before the session, I go through and I do my download, and then I muscle check, like I'll ask questions like, okay, you know, which ones of these, topics do we need to really go through? And is there more to some of these? And and so I'll go through each healing point and muscle test that way. And then during a session, I'm muscle testing all the time, because some things will come through and usually it won't make any sense to me. I'll have no idea what it's about. And and so the personality me, it's like, okay, I want to say this, but I don't want to say it if I'm wrong or if it's inappropriate or whatever. And so that's when I ask, I'll ask about that, do my yes and no's. And then throughout the session, I'm always muscle testing, um, like asking, okay, where are they at now? Um, do I need to explore this further? Or, um, like what is their, like, are they really deep right now? Or are they ready to move on? Or things like that. So I use it throughout the whole session, muscle testing. And then,
yeah,
of
that's
course, after a treatment, especially for the one-on-ones, they get a free follow-up clearing, a remote clearing. And so what I'll do then is I'll muscle test what YouTube sessions would be supportive for them where they are right now, and then I'll list those. So that's
comes with an aftercare
generally,
program. Yeah, nice.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as you all know, I'm sure a lot of you do all kinds of healing work, giving and receiving, and it can getting a energetic treatment can take you into a big detox. And that's the case, especially with my sessions, I find. And I always tell people ahead of time, you know, plan for the next 3 to 5 days. Usually it's about 3 days, that there may be some detox, the standard, feeling like you need to sleep more, or feeling like, cold and flu-like symptoms, but you don't have a cold or flu. You're just energetically detoxing and reorienting. And oftentimes, as you probably know, but oftentimes that can look like emotions just coming up out of nowhere, like, oh my gosh, why am I so angry? Or your sister says pass the salt and you bite her head off, or it's like, okay, I must be detoxing or reorienting after my treatment with Gabriella. Um,
You
so
know, that is so funny. I have been listening to I've been binging, I'll just tell on myself a little bit.
okay.
Some of your YouTubes over the last few weeks. And yeah, I didn't even think about, I mean, I felt fine, but but just had some intense emotions for a few days. And I was thinking, it was this like incredible grief, and I'm trying to make sense of it, and I couldn't quite. And now I'm thinking, I didn't even think that it was connected to,
Right.
maybe those sessions, but that's interesting. Okay, well, good to know.
And I
Um,
get that a lot where, I actually put this automated thing with my online scheduler to send an email 3 days later asking people to check in with themselves, because oftentimes people won't connect it to the treatment they just had. And then they go into the mind space of, oh, well, what's wrong with me? Well, did I do something
right.
wrong? Did I not practice my mantra enough? Or, oh, I'm so bad. And I mean, seriously, that's what we do. We all do that when we don't have a context for why we're experiencing some tumult or intensity. So just saying, putting it out there, be on the
Okay.
lookout the next 3 or 4 days for any kind of intensity, and plan for some self-care.
Yeah, that's always good. And
Yeah.
if something intense comes up, you can reach out to Gabriella.
Absolutely. I always, and that's, I love doing that. You just give me an email, send me an email and describe what you're experiencing. And then I will muscle test and pick out a few YouTube video sessions that support where you're at right now. They may help to stabilize, but sometimes just listening to the session that we did can help that as well. But of course, douse about that.
Yeah,
And
it's about it.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, because sometimes you really don't want to listen again right at that time. So, because it might take you even deeper, and you got to stabilize first before you do another round. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, I mean, it could be grace and ease, and it could be a little more intense. So,
right,
yeah.
right.
We have a question in the chat. Someone would like to hear more about your experience with Aura-Soma. If you
Oh,
don't mind sharing, because I know you were a practitioner for years and you love the products.
yes, I love Aura-Soma. I actually really started really early on, before I even got into the energy healing work. That was one of the first things that came into my life. So Aura-Soma is a system of healing using color, light, crystal essences, plant essences, gem essences, and a lot of intention. And so there are these products that are sold worldwide. Mainly they come out of England, Europe area. I used to be a distributor and I used to be an official practitioner, but I just kind of let that my certification run out and all that. But I still use their products. And so the main line that they have are very beautiful colored bottles of
Exquisite.
oil and
It's like a
water.
whole wall
Oh,
of like the most beautiful two colors to a bottle, and it's you just walk in and it just uh, feeds, for me who loves color, feeds the senses. Yeah.
yes, and they're alive. I have to say they are alive, and they're transmitting, and they love to connect with people and support you. And I used to do all these Orsoma readings where you'd come in, you'd look at the wall, and you'd pick your 4 bottles, and then we do a reading based on that. Just a reading of where your soul is at that time. Um, so since I'm no longer official, I can speak freely. Um, so my recommendation with that, and you didn't hear it from me, is to, find a website that has all the bottles um, on there. I think they kind of frown on that. But I just got to speak to what rings true for me, and that's that you can go look at the picture of the full set and then see which ones jump out at you, and then read about them and give yourself a reading. Those bottles, I mean, they're not very expensive, but they're not cheap either. And they they sometimes how do you say, they're lit up for you for a while, and then you feel done with it, but you've still got 3/4 of a bottle left. And anywho, so that's my thing about that. Um, and that's great. You shake them up and then you apply them to your body based on where the color chakra designates. So like red over blue, you would do your throat and your root chakra area. Now, what I really vibe with and love and recommend is their quintessences and pomanders. Those work again with crystal essences, plant essences, but those come in this little plastic bottle. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, but they work through the olfactory sense. And the olfactory sense is our oldest sense, I believe. And so it can really penetrate these deeper parts of our being that you know, are maybe inaccessible or harder to access or touch. So again, those are different colors, and they correspond with the color that you're attracted to. But yet the way that you know which one is right for you is you smell it. And anyway, I work with those quite a bit and highly recommend them. And the cool thing about those is that they last forever, and because you only use a few drops, and then you put it into your auric field, and it can really shift the energy pretty like nothing else I have found. Yeah, so I'm not a distributor anymore, but there are websites where you can find them and purchase them and have them.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. And Geraldine, who asked that, says thank you. So kind of back to your transmissions, these I'm going to call it our psychic surgery sessions.
Yes.
What have people reported back to you, like their experience or when they've had shifts? Like, can you share some of that with
Yeah,
folks?
I typically attract people who are going through a big transition, or they're really
Can
having a
anybody relate to that?
yeah, that would be the whole world right now.
Yeah.
But they're really going through it. And that's actually the best time to schedule a session with me, is when things are not going so well, or they feel like they're not going so well. That's the best time, because everything is up and easily, I don't have to dig for it. I don't have to, stir the waters. If you're feeling great, don't schedule a session, because we're going to stir the waters. And I lost track of the question you had asked. I'm sorry.
Like results or uh, things that people reported back to you after they've had a session.
So I had one lady email me the next day after her session, and she said, "Oh my gosh, what did you do? My husband's being nice to me." And another lady said, "Oh my gosh, I cleaned my whole house." And I typed back, "Well, come on over here."
Yeah.
What else? So what we're going for, or what I see in terms of positive results with my work, is either a change in the situations, the goings on in your life, and hopefully the issue that we worked on that day, or a change in perspective. Like, oh, wow, my boss is still being a jerk and looking over my shoulder, but it doesn't bother me. That's weird. We're going for that as well. So those are a few of the things.
Well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple minutes before we get started. Does anybody have any questions for Gabriella? Or if you do, put them in the chat and I will relay them. Yeah. And I know that the work that we do tonight will absolutely affect the greater, we're the ripples in the pond, right? So it's going to go out and affect all the things that are happening around the world.
That's probably why I'm just realizing it as you're talking. That's probably why I've had quite a big, large degree of energy show up before our treatment tonight, because all of you all are broadcasters, healers, and transmitters. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. So we, uh, okay, we got a couple questions. One, what about partial blindness, degeneration of the optic nerve, swelling, glaucoma? I guess that's very physical with the eyes.
Um, so it, what is the question with that? Like,
I think the question would be, what would you recommend?
oh, gosh, I wish I was a medical intuitive. Um, Typically, when I get clients who have like physical issues, I mean, we can work the energetics, and I open to see what comes in about that. But, I typically will get operations, like energetic operations. And, sometimes my, oh, how do you say, sometimes I can direct the session in that way through having that as an intention. But typically I don't really, um, how do you say, um, I don't really work on
The
physical.
physical.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I say that, and then energetic operations will come through. Um,
So is that something that you would recommend getting a session for? Maybe a personal session, or there
I
could be things connected to that that are maybe influencing that in
Yes,
the
if
physical.
the person who is curious about that or wondering about that um, is okay with getting an energetic read, and open to all the different um, oh contingencies that will probably show up, because some people come in and they want, like, oh, can you heal my leg? And I'm like, well, I can work on the energetics of it. Is that cool? So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She said you answered it.
Oh, good.
And someone else was, how do you muscle test? Do your fingers get tired or fatigued when you're doing, do you just do it with your fingers?
um when I'm like a self-taught muscle testing person, because I kind of like stumbled onto it, like without knowing what it was, like, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago. And I started doing it with my head, like I go, and yes and no. And so I'd be at the store looking at supplements going, yes. And so after a while, I was like, okay, this is embarrassing. Can I just do it over here? And so that's what I started doing. Like, this is a yes, this is a no. And sometimes it's just like my little finger. And to answer your question, no, it doesn't get tired. And I suspect it's because the energy is coming through. And um, so it's the energy moving it, not me. So I don't get tired, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I know some people do this or this, and that does, I do feel the fatigue on that. But yeah, everybody has their own way of doing it.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and I think I played with a few of those before, and I was like, oh wow, wow, that I'm going back to this.
right, and that's the beauty of it, right? We find what
We have
works
to find
for
what
us.
works for us and what our body responds and resonates best with.
Right, right. Um, do we have any other questions for Gabriella? Are you guys ready to just jump in and experience? Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat, so we'll get started. And I'm going to take myself off screen and let Gabriella kind of be the main thing so I can experience this too. And then um, she'll finish her session with all of us, and then I'll wrap up and I'll stop recording. And if we need to if we need to chat further, we can do that. Or if we all need to kind of go and, go relax, we can do that too. So, fantastic. Okay. So I'm going to
Before
take
you
my,
press record, just want to let
oh,
everyone know.
we're recording.
Sorry. So I just want to let everyone know, if you can lay down, that would be great. You can have the camera on you, or you can turn off your video, just whatever makes you feel most comfortable so that you can receive as deeply as possible. And I think that's it.
Okay, fantastic. So people just need to kind of relax, close their eyes, and all they have to do is just sort of listen, um, and the magic
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, and one other thing is, you don't need to focus on my words or follow them. You can just let them flow through and listen if you like, or not listen if you like. And you'll have the recording later you can listen to, but just relax and receive the transmission.
And we talked about this, and if there had to sort of be a general summary of what this is focused on, I think it's aligning with your most beneficial timeline is where we're at. So obviously there's a lot of nuances in there. So I think we're in for a mega treatment. So, all right, here we go. Thank you.
Pure Soul Alchemy session, aligning with your highest, most beneficial timeline, 6/18/2025. And we're going to begin by connecting with our divine physical and non-physical intelligence to align completely with our own core essence. Aligning with the fundamental and essential aspects of ourselves. Aligning with the earth, sun, moon, with the celestial skies, with our own inherent creator self, and with our right placement in existence. The purest healing source within us is our own deepest aspect. We agree to serve as our own healing agent and to serve from and as our own ultimate inner counsel, the all that I am. We now invoke, welcome, receive our beloved Mother, Father, God to exact their loving, divine, blessed grace directly into our healing proceedings today. All right, what I'm hearing is pronounced wow factor. We're clearing an imposition that gets in the way, impedes, distorts, and inhibits access. So we're doing a clearing on this right now. Conveniences, early life, transmission, recalibration, reinstatement, recovery, full on. Okay, we're doing a healing for energetic displacement. There is a subtle field positioning that we're clearing on that, and that is cowering. So we're clearing the cowering imagery, construct, negative life field, dedication point. We're doing a clearing on that. Let's also do a clearing for discorporation, anchors. We're doing a clearing here. Let's clear convoluted energies, constriction energies. Okay, we're also doing a mind washing, cleaning. It's not brainwashing. It's more from the cleaning, clearing definition. Great. Contingencies for taking your own true life course back in accordance with your higher yield, placement, and specifications, aligning with new informed dedication. Foreground recovery path. We're doing a clearing for inability or hampered ability to move along gracefully, to move forward, to continue movement, your true higher light aligned flow movement. All right, heavy words course. We're doing a clearing there. Yeah, we're doing a clearing for concepts, verbal articulation constituencies that are heavily loaded energetically. This could be negatively, but it could also be positively. You know, it's not bad or wrong to have, you know, positively charged energy on our words, concepts, articulations. However, when we get stuck or trapped or, you know, just fixated on one piece, it can like impede our flow. So that's where we're clearing. So relaxing and receiving these energetic operations deeply. Profound energetic life course resituation. And we're doing a process here for assisting and supporting your assimilation of these shifts. Great, so that all came through in a rush there. I'm going to go to my downloaded healing points here. Taking in your truest mark for life concentration and enhancement. True joy reconciliation. Great, so that is a big clearing in and of itself, true joy reconciliation. We're doing also a clearing, a sub-level clearing on that which impedes, denigrates, even shames or guilts us in rejecting our true joy, turning away from it, turning it off, like I don't deserve it, or who am I to have a good life when so and so doesn't, or it just feels foreign. And so there's a rejection of something that we're just not quite used to. Pure joy, true joy. So we're doing a massive clearing on this one for all of us. Composite, chaos, now recalibrating. Soul joy recovery path. Individuation, recapturing higher instinctual strength. Intermediate identity, welfare, reconstruction. Higher self coursework, recovery, recalibration. Inclusion, energy response, repair, and uploading into your higher dynamic strike point. Something along the lines of boons, gifts from the divine with this one, and the ability to receive it and deepen in with it. All right, soul devastation, last path, cleanup. Great. So I just want to speak to this a little bit, that right now there's so much cleaning out, constellating going on in the interworkings of reality and our place in it. And so consequently, there's a lot of cleaning out of the past, the long past, and even past incarnations, past affiliations. So a lot of clean out happening. So I believe this is part of that. Soul devastation, last path cleanup. Great. We're also implementing course easing or path easing. Clearing comparison inclinations. Comparing where oneself is along their path of reconstruction, reconstellation with another's path. There's going to be very different. Great. So we're doing a massive clearing there and a resetting. Past wave recovery. Owning your own way of being with light field awareness and capacity upgrade. Higher plane sequential optimization. Great. We're also clearing and restructuring any sequencing of denial. This could be denial of anything, denial of your sacred gifts, denial of your right to bring those forward, denial of your right to play with those and engage with those. And of course, also denial of where we may be stuck or believing something not so good about ourselves, or patterns that we may carry or that our parents may have carried on and on and on, etc. A big landscape, broad range, denial, clearing, loosening up, because that's where our liberation is when we can face things and acknowledge things, then they can start to shift. So we're receiving a big clearing on this one. Great. Overview incapacitations. We're resetting, restructuring here. Growing a new form for alignment with chaos mitigation and navigation of, as we know, big change brings chaos. That's just what happens. Chaos is not bad. It's just upheaval. It's the uprooting of the old, making room for the new to be seeded, planted. So mitigating and navigating chaos, change with ease. And taking this operation even deeper. Great. Employing your divine powers of creation. And clearing for anything that gets in the way of that or obstructs that, or diverts our attention and direct motion with that. Setting the path for quick recovery, quick resetting, quick returning to center after a bout of a naturally led, organically led reality adjustment. Or adjustments, because there's many ongoing these days. Indistinct layering, refresh. Antiquated variety, reset. Cool new tone of awareness. Really taking this deep into the physicality, the corporeal experience of your soul consciousness. Translation of new earth form sequences into your physical body awareness, into your physical body interplay. Reclaiming, recovering zest for life with so much change going on and still more to come. A recuperation for our enthusiasm, our zest, our enjoyment, finding the delight in life. Great. And I'm sure you all have heard the phrase chop wood, carry water. I think that's how it goes. Essentially, the meaning of that is, well, what do I do when I reach enlightenment, or when, the spiritual world is so present in my day-to-day experience and perception. And the answer is, well, you chop wood, you carry water, you attend to the mundane daily tasks that need to be done and find divine spirit in them, and plant your soul into this earth plane reality there through that. Great. So bringing in more facility and ease and quicksilver ability to return to that. Divine light inspiration to go beyond where you have exceeded before. Divine sight ripple effects, mitigating. Resolution in your true light form. Spiritual plane, body level, affiliation, and reset. Higher field organization renewal. Independence recovery and calibration. We're also going to do a piece here with that in terms of clearing hyper dependency, old, not hidden, but deeper level dependencies that have always been there, but we've operated on top of. We're doing a clean out of where we have been dependent or have had tendencies for codependence, which is a strain, a weight on our independent spirit, interdependent spirit, doing our thing, doing its thing. This is a really big one. We're going to hang with this a bit longer. And it's not that, oh, well, my relationship with so-and-so or my friendship with so-and-so, I have some dependency there, so therefore the relationship is bad, I got to stop it. It's not that. It's the pattern itself that we're working on. And this feels like a very old, ancient structure of confinement to the human life form, just being human, even as a method of control and subversion of the human soul, human embodied soul spirit here, having a human experience. So we're this is really cool that this is coming up, because I believe that is breaking up Earth worldwide. And that's a hard one, because the underlying false messaging employed by that deception pattern is that we're helpless, we're powerless, we can't, we're incapable, and our survival depends upon finding someone or something other than us to fulfill our needs. Otherwise, we could die. So this is very, very deep human race pattern of subversion that is being cleared, and we're clearing it deeply further for ourselves here tonight. Right, really honing in on the places where we feel incapable, disempowered, and incapacitated. And it's not so much about what we feel incapable of or disempowered to do. It's more, it's an overlay. It's a false and negative energy transmission overlay that can get attached to anything and anyone that we can, and then we can project it onto, it gets projected onto anything. Like, oh my gosh, I really need this pen in order to survive. It can be something very simple like that, or it can be something really complex like, oh my gosh, I need my family or else I can't make it in this world. And well, yes, you do need your family for love and support, but you can make it in this world, you. So really deep clearing happening with that. And I'm really feeling a lot going on in the gut area. There's a bit of uncomfortableness with letting go of this one a bit more, and that's okay. Clearing that uncomfortableness, the uncertainty, the I don't know. It's all good. We're clearing for whatever comes up, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. Great. That's going to continue moving along. Higher frame reference initiation. Higher frame of reference initiation. Inspired, light-filled life initiation. True to form, as you are continually reforming and being reformed by spirit and your soul flow. Match point resiliency. Individuation, recovery. Safe, mark flow, repair. Initiating a rectification of the landscape where decisions were made based on worry, based on lack, on fear of loss, fear for survival, and more. Rectification of the landscape where decisions were made based on lack, fear, worry, fear for survival, and more. Recovery here and righting yourself in proper alignment and position in your center, rooted and connected. Ensuring a new postural relief set. And yes, this could be physical body posture, but I suspect it's a bit more along the lines of the posture of your bigger self in an earth plane body. Opening up the life wave for the formation of new paths, new foundations currently being constructed, while simultaneously old structures are being demolished, broken down, let go of, dispersed. Employing divine grace in traversing this long-term changing of the guards, so to speak, within your being. Parts of your human corporeal expression moving back, and parts of your corporeal expression coming more forward, and some of them falling off, and new ones being created. So much flux here happening. So employing divine grace and traversing this long-term changing of the guards. Enhancing, growing our patience, faith, trust, and optimism, positive outlook, while this is happening over the long range future. Clearing negative distortions, clearing demoralization. That stuff and more will come up as we are becoming more light-filled, more of our light self. The negative, the opposite, will come running like the moths to the flame. They will make their appearances. And so reminding ourselves from now on, oh, wow, here's this negative stuff popping up. I must be advancing. I must be transmuting. I must be growing. There's probably something really positive going on if these unpleasant emotions and thoughts are popping up. Yay, I'm making progress. So really taking that in deeply so that we can remind ourselves in the future. And then we can relax better in the process. Finding more ways to positively be in this massive turnover from source, from nature, from existence, from divine grace, from earth, in gratitude and appreciation of this divine en masse passage that we are all on. higher space rootedness, feasibility, capacitation upgrade, enhancement of our ability to employ this. Engaging with your true source, divine right timeline. Consequences of the past, deleting, being discarded, that which no longer holds value, learning, discarding. Great. And so what I'm seeing, I sometimes I see stuff. I'm seeing like cables being snapped off, like ching, ching, where there have been tethers to whatever it was in some of our past timelines and who we were in those past timelines, who we have been up to now. Great. So right here, right now, I'm going to do a little process for assisting our heart, soul, earth body system to find the home base, find the rootedness within our essential core being as we are moving towards onto more positive, more beneficial, our most beneficial timeline. In the past, we've had tetherings and grounding and a sense of place, and those are being uprooted. And so now tuning to the place where we ultimately truly belong, which is inside our being, for that, our alignment with God, source, with earth, with nature, really upping the ante here. Great. So the next healing point, aligning within to support your natural gravitation to that timeline, which is yours. Initiation of courage, support to leave behind the old timelines that you are no longer a vibrational match for. Cleaning up any residual affiliations with wrong, outdated, antiquated realities that have run their course. That your soul, spirit is done, is complete with. Allowing these graceful endings to be, and tuning your momentum to the new, right, perfect timeline that is calling to your heart. Energetically and soulfully opening to divine right connection. Opening to receiving the divine placement of source to put us and the right people and the right situation in our path to discover one another and to expand our web of heartfelt soul friend bonds. Those who would enhance and support our trajectory, our new trajectory, and vice versa. We would be a support for them, where we kind of ping each other and accelerate, stabilize, motivate, accelerate the trajectory in our new right path. Great, so we're doing some further clearing the physical corporeal body here. And this one I'm feeling it like in the lung, bottom of the lung, diaphragm, diaphragm area. But we're just doing a purging of some heavy energies there. The next healing point, clearing any obstacles and negative anticipatory sets that inhibit or sabotage or attempt to sabotage divine order meeting with other high vibe aligned souls. Right, we're taking this clearing to the chest heart area now. So dissolving all of these obstacles now, here and now, for future fortuitous connections to come into our lives. And welcoming them, recognizing them, welcoming them with open arms and open-heartedness. Great, yeah. So there is a, I'll do my best to describe what I'm seeing, like a artificial, manufactured, negative energetic suggestion that tries to persuade us to shut down, shut off, close down, shut out, and we're clearing on this now. It's not ours, but we've been under its influence for so long that we think, we experience it and perceive it as ours or us. So clearing that distinction now. Right, transcendence. Right, so next healing point. Dissolving fears, uncertainties, hold back patterns that are to do with money flow in our lives. Healing, a profound, powerful healing for where we have been disenfranchised and cut off from our own inherent money supply system, network that is ours personally. healing any disconnection that inhibits flowing to the next way of incorporating life's field of referencing to support your life, your physicality, in accordance with the new life reality grid that is up and coming. And this is the grid from source, from grace, from love, not any of those artificial, yeah, manufactured grids. Reforming your reality grid in harmony with the ever-changing life support system on Earth that comes from Earth, Earth's love, Earth's gifts, the heart of Earth. Reconfiguring to align and synchronize with the new higher vibe harmonics of money circuitry forming in the human connection plane. The currency that is based on the foundation is goodwill, respect, being in harmony and balance, having ample sustenance, and trusting and knowing that our needs will be provided for. Resolving emotional and psychological dis-ease, discomfort, paralysis, disappointment, and unrecognizable sustenance forms. Resolving. We're doing a clearing for the high alert, worry, alarm structure feature of the, I guess, artificial human-made money currency system. Dissolving this. Enhancing the parasympathetic nervous system to support us through these huge changes. Money concept reformation with life's flow grid. Alignment with your true design upgrade now in progress, in process. Opening for new money support to usher us in. I'm sorry, opening for new money support to usher in. Higher field of reference, higher frame of reference to design heavenly frequency pathways in your money support grid. Favorable outcomes, receptivity anchoring now. clear value and support for this to come in. Clearing money devastations from past human psyche. Valuing yourself anew and sequencing from this new upgraded self-valuing structuring within. Great. Bringing in support for everyone present in this treatment now for navigating successfully all the intensities that are happening in your life, past, present, and future. A support and a boost for transmuting the old patterns, traumas, woundings with ease, efficiency, and effectiveness at every turn. More of you showing up to relax into the grace of spirit that is within you, opening to having much more access instantaneously to this bigger part of your being that knows, sees, and transmutes with ease. Empowering your body, your being to move up another level, to meet life's challenges / gifts successfully and joyfully. Right. So we're now creating a containment field, a divine circle of light all around each of us. And this will serve as a buffer zone, offering further clearing, support, guidance, protection, love, nurturing, and truth. These processes will continue as we and our realities reorient and reconfigure over the course of the next several months to come. And we're now closing down our session in love, light, gratitude, and blessings. All right. Some of you may still be way deep, and that's okay. You can stay there. Some of you may want to ask questions or talk, and that's cool too.
I forgot that I had muted myself. Thank you. That was incredible. I think we covered the gamut. Like, if we're not set up for and aligned for our highest, most beneficial timeline now, forget it.
But you know how it is. But wait, there's more.
I
It's
know.
always
Well, so much releasing of, I could just feel it, just all that stuff just being any little dregs. I know most of us have done so much work, but just like the dregs of the last little things that have been weighing us down felt like, just being energetically shaken off. And then I loved the grace and ease, that preparing of, to receive, and the support and the money showing up, and the our tribe, and all the things that we know should be available, but sometimes we feel so like it's not. So I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to hear people's feedback, after everybody's processed a little bit and started to experience things. We'll have to have a I want you guys to like email me or Gabriella and let us know in few days, few weeks or whatever, what's starting to show up, what you noticed is shifting, because that was very powerful.
May I say one thing? I, it was just right off the bat, it was just so clear. Wow, this is a group of advanced healers. And it just felt like things were up quite a few notches from my normal sessions. So I just wanted to put that out there.
I could feel that.
Like, whoa.
Definitely feel that. Does anybody want to share what Joanne says? Thank you. Your voice was mesmerizing. Is everybody in a deeply relaxed state? Or if you have a question for Gabrielle, we can have a quiet time for one or two. I think it's kind of a lot to
Yes.
absorb. I think we'll just let people have
And that's
their
how
experience.
it typically is after a session. I just say goodbye and sign off, because there's a lot of people that are out after a session. Some of you may be like feeling like, oh, the session is closed. Some of you may still be in the operating room for the next 12, 24, maybe 36 hours. And what I mean by that is you may still be heavy duty processing. And so just really go slow, honor yourself, take care of yourself. And then again, be on the lookout these next 3-4 days, and take good care of yourself.
And drink lots of water is kind of what I'm feeling too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, this was amazing. Thank you. PureSoulAlchemy.com is where you can get hold of Gabriella for private sessions for her classes. And of course, she's on YouTube. And again, if you felt value, you've received value from what we're doing here, please, if you're called to contribute, we'll gratefully receive. So thank you, Gabriella. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And yeah, all right. Good night.
Thank you, everybody.